All right, solo practice video for the 25th of June 2020. Um, so my game plan for today actually is I think to kind of finish up my internal thoughts and investigation on that underarm cut that I was talking about in the last couple. And I thought I would walk through briefly how this is performed in the two other systems of sword and buckler that I'm more familiar with and how it's used. So you can get an idea of why I'm thinking about this. So if you guys can see, I have my Western European buckler and a simple arming sword. And we'll talk about how we do this in 133. So in 133, the guard of prima, or priest special underarm can be held a few different ways, but the core way you'll mostly see it held is something like this, right? And again, with a side view, right? I'm hip hinged, and this can be varying degrees back. We've literally seen it as far back as this. And you could think about it, right, as somebody drawing. Now with a sword of this length, right, and I can hold this here, I can draw and strike, right? So I can literally come from here, draw and strike. And Preem is used this way often for treading through or clearing. So from a guard that looks like this, you'll see me do stuff like this, right? Where as I'm here, this comes out in horizontal and covers. And again, my buckler stays with the hand and covers it. The purpose of this very often is I come out, clear the line, and thrust, right? If there's a blow coming in, I clear it and thrust with the buckler protecting my hand. Georgian does not use this as much, but like in 133, the Georgian variant of this guard, right, and we count these alphabetically, A, B, C, D, right, E, F, G, H, I, right. So in the Georgian variant, I sit here, right? I may be square, I may have one leg lead or the other, doesn't matter so much. But again, just like when we were in 133 and we're here, and my hand is hiding behind my buckler. And my tip should be about knee height on here. And this is a rising cut made into sort of the quad slash hip. So low flank, high leg, right? So for here, right, I can be in this position, right, I'm here, and you'll see this get used like this, right? Pop, pop. These work in these two. Where we run into issues, and by the way, again, here, drawing the sword, I would grasp my buckler, pinch my scabbard, and draw my sword, which is worn edge down on the left. There's room to clear it. Now, we come to Bolognese. I have very long arms. I would like to make a point. If I were to draw this the same way, with my hand here, it's very difficult. I can do this, but if you look here, that angle is a challenge. I get to here, right? There's not much left to make the cut. I think if I'm going to draw with this style of sword, more than likely what's going to happen is something akin to this, right? Where I draw and make a descending cut. So my sword may hang here, but it gets turned in the draw, right? Boom. In most cases, the buckler's not a factor in that, because if the buckler's used for anything, that buckler hand is stabilizing my scabbard, which makes sense. A lot of bucklers were worn hanging at the mouth of the scabbard. You know, the name, the label swashbuckler comes from that. Now, looking through Marazzo's plates, the other thing that Marazzo seems to completely lack is a low guard on this side with the edge turned forward, right? With 133, right, we had this. With Georgian, we were here. Marazzo, the closest he gets to that is this. There literally is not a point forward guard here for that rising cut. So the question to that, and this is what I'm trying to understand still, is why? We've shown and we have proven that we can make that cut successfully, right? I can do that here, right? If I'm in here, I can make this. I can, from down here, still make this by turning, but it's slower. And the initial action is away to turn. I have to turn no matter what. If I'm here, I turn. And I guess I could come forward with it if I'm here. But that changes the motion of the sword, right? If I'm here, that turn is different from that arc or that arc. And to do this right, look, my arm leads. If I'm here, the buckler, my arm stays covered. If I do this Georgian style, my arm stays covered. So while we can make this Bolognese style, there is more exposure to the sword hand, and we don't see that cut. We don't see that shown. Now, there are places in the two-handed sword where he calls for these, and there are places, you know, again, where he will call for these big round cut motions, especially the rising cuts. A good example of some of that is in, for example, what the display piece that Sean posted. But even there, we'll see things where he tells you, right, you're standing here and you make, right, you make a, you know, motions akin to this, right? I'm here and upright, and you get a, that's not so much a rising cut here as it is a clash to my own buckler to make a noise and a signal. Right, I'm approaching across the room. We're here, and I begin. Yeah. So again, I need to go back and reread all of Marazzo's sequences and see. But I find it an interesting thing, and to me, perhaps, one of the keys to how this sword and buckler system works differently from the others I've practiced, is the absence of that guard low here with the point back, or with, you know, we have this, but we have a palm up. We do not have a palm down. This is a different guard from this. Right? Right? We've all got variations on things we do. In any case, that's my ramble for today. Hopefully, it was informative.